Dr. Malhotra. I'll be very brief, but just to quote Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, you're the greatest intellectual in post-independence India.
I think it would be good to ask the question
yes,
direct.
My question is, as long as materialism defines the way of life, won't West dominate? I mean, let's just look at around. Kindly don't misunderstand me. Everything that we look around here, whether it's the light bulb, Thomas Edison invented it. Whether it's the audio, the West invented it. How does one define Sanatana Dharma as an alternative way of life, wherein Purva Paksha then dominates? As long as materialism dominates our way of life, West wins, does it not?
Well, I would say that the Sanatana Dharma tradition, until the 1700s, we also had a lot of material wealth, more so than Europe. The decline happened between 1750 and 1850, when the de-industrialization of India and the industrial revolution of Britain were happening simultaneously. This is documented by Dharmpal, and my foundation has done a lot of books on the history of Indian science and technology to show that in the pre-colonial era, we were not deficient in science or technology or material wealth. In fact, the trading was so much in India's favor, we were exporting industrial goods, and they had to pay us in gold because they had no industrial goods we wanted. So the reason I always when I address American audiences, I say, why did Columbus discover America? What was he trying to do? And then I have to tell them that he was looking for India. And they say, oh, yeah, but they never thought it's significant. Well, why was he looking for India? Why wasn't he looking for, Nigeria or something? Why wasn't he looking for some other place? Why India? And then they don't know. And the reason is that India and China supplied the sophisticated products, in both botanical, plant-based medicinal products and also industrial products like, textiles and steel and all kinds of things. And the Ottomans in the war between Christianity and Islam, the Ottoman Empire captured the route between the ground between Asia and Europe. The whole Central Asia and Eastern Europe was captured by the Ottomans. So the trade routes, Europe was not able to get goods from India and China, and they had to find sea routes because the land routes was blocked. So looking for sea routes became the quest. It's like R&D looking for, the biggest ultimate breakthrough. That's what was going on. And the venture capitalists of the day were people like the Queen of Spain, and she funded the journeys of Columbus to go looking for a route to India through the Pacific, and then separate parallel independent journeys by Vasco da Gama to go around Africa. That was their R&D, looking for routes to India, bypassing the land route which the Muslims controlled. So that was going on, obviously because of material wealth. So I do not feel that that escapism from the Vyavharika is the message of our Vedas. We have Arth is one of the Purusharths, one of the outputs, one of the quests, legitimate quests in Dharma. So it is not only moksha. We are not just a moksha-centric. We've become sometimes, unfortunately, a moksha-centric ideology, and therefore we say, okay, we've surrendered the material world to the West. I, as a Hindu, do not surrender the material world to the West at all. I have every right to be rich. And our tradition doesn't say that we should be beggars and poor and not make progress in medicine and breakthroughs and whatnot. Until the colonial era, we were doing it very well. And it is also entirely possible that the West has seen its best days. It is entirely possible that the future, that the history of the rise and fall of the West may be just a 500-year rise and fall of the West. It could turn out like that in 50 years or 100 years. It may happen like that. So we have the integral unity of Paramarthika and Vyavharika. And the Vyavharika has wealth as part of it. Now, it is very important to credit the West. For this 500-year period, they have done amazingly well. And this is the atheists, the the discovery of electricity didn't require anything to do with God and all that. The discovery of all these IT products and, you know, microphone and airplanes, whatnot, used secular, materialistic, you know, atheistic science. It used that. So we have to give credit that the reason the Charvakas are back, very powerful, is because the Charvakas' argument is that look at what our Charvaka brothers in the West have done, very successfully. And you guys in the spiritual realm have not done so well. So I give them credit. I don't dismiss them at all. But I don't think that it means that we are inferior to them in the material realm on an inherent basis. I think there's been political disruption and other kinds of disruptions which brought us into this trouble. Now, as far as future is concerned, I would say that it is our job to update our smritis. So science as a shastra, update our shastra, update our knowledge of philosophy and social sciences and so on. We have to, rather than being nostalgic about the past, which is a problem with a lot of our traditional scholars, they just recite what happened great in the past. We have not been doing R&D to bring it up to speed and make it forward. Certain areas we're doing R&D, like there's a lot of good R&D going on in Ayurveda, to make Ayurveda more cutting edge and solve new problems. They're making medicines, you know, using Ayurvedic methodology, more and more breakthroughs in various practical problems. So that's an area where very practical, materialistic kind of a vivaric domain of progress is going on with us. I think there's plenty of opportunity to, now the West is taking our shastras, our meditation techniques, our mind-body kind of ideas, and they are producing the cutting-edge breakthroughs in cognitive science, mental health, health in general, with these yogic meditation kind of techniques. It's not spiritually oriented, but it is for materialistic gain that the West is doing. We ought to be doing that research. We ought to be getting the credit because it's the use of our paradigms and our framework. So I think this is a very fertile ground, and I'm very glad you asked this question because this is what we ought to debate. How do we, while remaining true to the Sanatana Dharma, how do we reignite the research like we used to have at one time?